What's up, everyone? Ready for another dive into the unknown? The ocean has always been a mysterious place. Even today, with technology capable of reaching outer space, we still know practically nothing about the depths of the sea. And the deeper we go, the more we realize we were never meant to be there. The ancients knew that, and maybe they knew even more than we do. For ancient peoples, Vikings, Portuguese sailors, Japanese fishermen, Greek navigators, the sea was never just water. The sea was a living entity. It was a separate world, a kingdom. And like every kingdom, it had its ruler, or rather, its monster. The Kraken wasn't just a giant creature. It was fear made flesh. Men of that time sailed with fear of storms, pirates, diseases, but nothing compared to the terror of what lurked beneath the surface. Because storms you see coming, pirates you hear, but what lives in the depths, you only notice when it's already too late. Unlike many monsters from ancient legends, the Kraken wasn't born from symbolism or lessons or metaphors. It lived in people's minds because people actually disappeared. Entire ships were swallowed without explanation. Crews vanished without leaving a trace. And when there are no answers, humans invent monsters to explain the inexplicable. But what if, just what if, this time, the monster was real? That's the kind of question myth and fear loves to answer. And today, we're going deep, very deep. The first mentions of the Kraken appear in Nordic texts, mainly from Iceland and Norway. At the time, Vikings were relentless explorers, unbelievably skilled sailors, but also extremely superstitious. They believed the sea was filled with gigantic creatures, and they didn't just believe it, they documented it. The Kraken was described as a colossal creature with arms longer than ship masts, capable of destroying boats with ease, dwelling in the deepest parts of the ocean, unpredictable and aggressive. Some accounts claimed it was so large that when it surfaced, sailors mistook its body for a small island. They would land on it without realizing. And when the creature moved, well, no one survived to tell what happened next. Imagine that! You and your crew step onto an island, set up camp, and in the middle of the night, you feel the ground tremble. Or worse, the island begins to sink. The sea swallows everything, and the men disappear. Of course, to ancient sailors, there was only one explanation. The Kraken has awakened. Can you imagine living in a world where that was a real possibility, where a creature the size of a building could rise from nowhere and end your life? That was the world of the Vikings, and they were terrified. But it wasn't irrational fear. It wasn't superstition without reason, because ships did vanish, always, and always in the same region. And nobody could explain it. To understand the Kraken, we need to understand Norse culture. The Norse believed the world was divided into several realms. The human realm, the realm of the gods, the realm of giants, the realm of darkness, and of course, the realm of the sea. The sea belonged to Jormungandr, the world serpent, Ran, the goddess who gathers drowned souls, unknown creatures called Hafkufa, invisible monsters that dragged men underwater, and at the center of everything, the Kraken. In mythology, the Kraken was considered so dangerous that even the gods avoided dealing with it. It had two main roles. One, guardian of the sea, protecting the depths from intruders. Two, force of balance. If anything threatened the order of the waters, the Kraken restored that order violently. That's why many myths portray the Kraken as a kind of enforcer. Ships that overfished were attacked. Ships that sailed near forbidden places were destroyed. Ships that polluted the waters were swallowed without mercy. And yes, there were forbidden areas of the sea, places so dangerous that sailors insisted they were home to gigantic monsters. And the impressive part is, Those regions really have intense geological activity, undersea volcanoes, and natural whirlpools, things no one at the time could possibly explain. So the question is, did the Norse simply invent these stories, or did they see something? One of the most famous stories about the Kraken appears in a 13th century manuscript. In it, a creature called Hafgufa is described as a gigantic being that disguised itself as an island. Read this. It seems like solid ground, but when sailors approach, they realize too late that it is flesh. They said the Hafgufa waited for ships to come close, fed on the chaos, and then dove beneath the waves, dragging everything down. Over time, this creature became closely associated with the Kraken. Why? Because all accounts shared the same features: enormous tentacles, colossal size, predatory behavior, sudden and devastating attacks, and the ability to generate whirlpools. And here's the interesting part. Some modern scholars believe the Kraken's whirlpool wasn't magical at all. When something enormous dives quickly, the ocean reacts. These stories spread across Europe, and each culture adapted the creature to its own imagination. But one idea always remained. The Kraken was too powerful to be just an animal. Now comes the most intriguing part of this video. Did the Kraken exist? Well, it depends on what you mean by Kraken. Let's look at the facts. Fact 1. Colossal squid exist. They have been found. They are real. They have beaks that can slice flesh like razors, tentacle hooks, arms stretching many meters long. The largest ever recorded measured nearly 13 meters, and some experts believe much larger specimens may have never reached the surface. Fact 2. They fight sperm whales. Battles have left scars on whale skin, huge suction marks, deep cuts, tentacles torn off. If a creature like that can fight a 20-ton whale, do you really think it couldn't destroy a wooden ship from the 900s? Fact 3. Animals were bigger in the past. Possible reasons include different atmospheric conditions, species competition, stable ancient environments, more abundant food sources. Meaning, if giant squid are huge today, 1,000 years ago, they could have been 2, 3, or even 4 times larger. Fact 4. 90% of the ocean is unexplored. We don't even understand the basics of the abyss, and anything we don't understand could be enormous, could be dangerous, could be ancient. Deep-sea cameras have captured massive shadows, shadows that resemble no known species. And in those shadows, guess what? Tentacles. Have you ever noticed that everywhere around the world there's a story about a sea monster? In Japan, the Akorokamu. In Greece, Scylla and Charybdis. In Polynesia, the Taniwaha. In Chile, the Cuero. In Scotland, the Knuckleavy. In the north, the Kraken. That's not a coincidence. Different cultures, different eras, different languages, yet the same creature. Why? Because they saw similar things. Massive beings, huge tentacles, sudden attacks. The Kraken isn't just a myth, it's a pattern. And patterns don't appear without reason. Now let's enter the most unsettling part of this video. Scientists believe there may be creatures in the deep ocean that have never seen light, live under crushing pressure, may be bioluminescent, evolved in isolation for millions of years, are larger than anything we currently know. The pressure at the bottom of the ocean compresses gases inside cells. That allows larger bodies. That allows mutations. That allows monsters. And about the Kraken creating whirlpools, scientists say it's absolutely plausible. When a massive animal rises or dives quickly, it moves tons of water. That creates currents, whirlpools, sudden waves, powerful pulls. Meaning, the Kraken's whirlpool may not be magic. It may be physics. Many ships that vanished off the coast of Norway disappeared in deep waters. Possible explanations? 1. Undersea methane gas pockets exploding. The seafloor can release methane suddenly and, well, the ship simply sinks. 2. Real but uncatalogued sea creatures. Ancient sailors described giant arms rising from the ocean and dragging crews away. And as unbelievable as it sounds, modern reports exist too. 3. Rogue waves and oceanic cyclones. 30-meter waves do exist. If a medieval ship was hit by one of those, goodbye. 4. Giant animals mistaken for monsters. If a fisherman saw this in the year 900 AD, what would he say? I saw an enormous creature